Boys, yo, what's up guys? Today we're gonna be looking at my new song Take Me that just dropped on Discovery Project, one of Insomniac's labels. So I always get cooked every single video because apparently I don't know what genre it is I'm making. So you know what, I'm not even gonna say it. No, but for real, we got like a super swingy house intro right here, and then the drop is like kind of in a UKG style. So if you're into that, you know, stick around. Got a lot to cover today, as you can see. All right guys, I'm gonna let this intro play out first, and then we're gonna dive into it. Alright, so let's dive into this. Definitely really happy with how these drums turned out for this intro part, so let's kind of hear what those sound like first. Yeah, there's like always something going on, something new, something fresh. So let's start with the basics though. We got our kick and our clap. And then at the end of every 4 bars, I do a little fill situation. The next basic thing to add onto that is obviously your open hat, which is these two guys. I have a couple layered here. Okay, so now we have our basic house beat, right? Now the challenge is filling in the gaps. So I'm just gonna put our kick and clap MIDI right here so it's easy to see everything on the same screen. We can see here, kick lands there, open hat, and then the clap lands, right? So like the best way to think about this now is to divide the space by 2. So something happens here and something happens here. So that means something new should happen right here, right? Because that's like the halfway point between 2 of these. But then here's where the swing comes in. You'll notice here's like our first perk sound. I have this swung off grid. So if it was on grid, it would happen right here, right? Because that would be the second beat of this bar. But for this entire section, all of the perks are going to be swung. I kind of have them cascading up in order as they hit. So we'll just start adding these. So now we have the little putsk. And the next one. And the next one. And then the last one there. Now we have our kind of elements that just repeat the whole time. The next thing I would add is little fills here at like the end of every 8 bars or something, or every 4 bars. And then these 2 sounds, which are just cooking randomly here, but just like background stuff. And yeah, like this LFO controlling the grain delay. This is probably a little excessive, but just to make it even more random. So what those sound like. Yeah, just very minimal in the background, then just like other effects like this gunshot, transitions and downlifters. And then, so on top of all that, I also just have some loops. I think this loop from Splice. Yeah, really cool. Also pretty swung off the grid. And then this one that's kind of like another open hat layer with some accent little hats. Really nice. Up here in this group, I have some like accent claps. And then finally in this, I think it's, yeah, this extra drums group, I got these like, I had this tom loop fill from Splice, but then it kind of inspired me to keep adding these like low perk sounds. And you'll see they're really wide 40 right. So I think that covers about everything. Let's see the drums now in context. Sweet. And if you don't really feel like doing that, you could check out my new sample pack. I have like a bunch of these off-grid kind of house and UKG loops. But yeah, so that's the drums for the intro. Now let's we'll keep the drums on and then we'll add in everything else. Like the drums really carry for this intro section. There's not too much else going on here. So let's open up the sidechain group. We got as early as, within the intro, some of the drop bass elements like sneaking in. This guy. Doing little fills, and then this entire group is like I made kind of like a rave stab sounding thing, and a bunch of just at a bunch of different pitches to kind of create almost a chord out of this thing. And as I repeat that, sometimes I take away layers just to give it some variance, throughout the song. A little riser there at the very beginning. So as we're adding in all this stuff from the sidechain group, it's really starting to fill out. And you don't need too much else. Just got little labs here, playing, just 2 notes. I think this is a piano here coming in. Yeah, piano's gonna be playing our bass line, and then I think this is just like a vocal hit. Yeah, that's all it's doing. Almost all the way done here. Then, yeah, in that second 8 bars, we got a nice respace coming in. And this is being sidechained, but I added a compressor onto it to really pump it to the kick. Wah, wah. Almost done here. I got a little sub for that downbeat thing I had. And then a resample for a drop, one of the kind of FM basses. I just stuck in the background with a lot of reverb. Sounds really nice coming into this second 8 bars right here. Then in context. Cool, and then finally the vocal group. We're just starting to tease some of the theme vocals from the song. Just a few pads layered here. I'll show them off really quick. Cool, so transitioning out of the house stuff from the drum group, it's just going to be a couple of sweeps and one of the loops here. Yeah, we're just going to have a lot of these atmospheric stuff, so I just needed a break from the 16 bars of house drums before we start a build-up. So this is, very minimal on the drums, very atmospheric kind of breakdown here. So some downlifters, little labs string, some noise. The drop gun basses or donk basses, whatever, are going to be, really reverbed and heavily EQ'd just to kind of tease them a little tiny bit. Cool, and then we got this riser that turns into a downlifter thingy. So the Reese bass line changes heavily from being very kind of melodic, upbeat to you just got your root note of your key, so we're in D minor, and then you go up 1 every once in a while, like at the end of every 2 bars for this instance. Add some tension. Then the vocals are kind of doing their thing, trying to create this atmosphere for the buildup.
You take me higher.
All right, so let's play the build-up now. That's pretty much the break section.
Can you take me higher?
Yeah, let's play the drums. right, so it's a pretty simple buildup drum-wise, but one cool thing I want to highlight for this kick and also the snare that we have here at the very end of it. Yeah, so similarly to how our intro drums were swung, the buildup here is also kind of swung, where at the very end the kick, instead of just like doing a copy and paste and just spamming like that, the second kick for this last part is swung off grid by a little amount of time right here, which matches what the snare is doing. So it's a ta-ta-da-ta-ta-ta-da, kind of just helps with the swing. Open hat comes in towards the end of the build. Water trickle texture, doing this grain delay thing again. Downlifter, transition, and here we go. The snare is doing that kind of offbeat thing that the kick is doing the entire buildup. Sidechain's gonna be a lot of the same stuff, but just probably some risers. Sweet. Yeah, so up here, nothing really to cover, just risers. Down here, same thing that we've been doing ever since the intro pretty much, is teasing the drop gun bass. It happens right here on the pre-drop. Got a cool like rewind effect thing. Starting to tease for the first time in the whole song. The downbeat of the drop is this rave stab. And then also it goes into this. So I'm just teasing that here for the build-up. Really reverb, chorus, delay. All the stuff that make it sound like it's in the background. So working with all that stuff, the vocals.
Yo, check this out.
Take me higher, 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 higher.
I really like how this turned out. I just kind of auto filter, just slowly revealing this vocal repeating. And we got some other kind of less melodic vocals, more chants, I guess.
Yo, check this out.
This track right here, I made out of like a bunch of these vocals, just turned into a pad using my granulator pad rack. For when the build starts, I'm using a shifter on this whole like vocal pad group to actually take it down. Usually I go up with the shifter, but I don't know, I kind of like the energy that going down gave it. Just gets really creepy. And then as that's going down in energy, our pre-drop vocal is coming up in energy. All right, just like that, I think we're ready for the drop.
Mash it up, no!
Up first is the drums. So one thing I want to touch on here, how I was kind of hinting on the intro. The contrast here is the drop perks and hats and all this stuff in here is all actually on grid this time. So if you remember right here, really swingy, really fun. Here it's kind of more in your face. Everything happens like boom, on grid. So let's go through these, make it simple here. We'll start with the kick and clap. Simple, right? Then adding on to that, I have this little snare that I pitched down with a shifter to make it atonal, and that plays like the offbeat. Then, we're gonna add like little fills and stuff at the end of every 4 bars. We'll just keep moving here. Got another fill here. And then as we get into the perk group, just another little like accent perk thing. Playing a very simple rhythm. And I'm just adding in with all these drum sounds, and like my thought process, I guess, is to just fill in a bunch of these gaps and make it more interesting. And I usually start with a very simple drum beat and then just start working on the drop stuff, like the basses in the sidechain group. And then I just come back in this group and fill it out over time as the track kind of creates. For our offbeat open hat here, actually it's something kind of interesting. I'm layering 2, but for like the third bar, I pushed this top one to the second beat instead of landing on the third beat, just because the kick drum lands on this beat right here. Added a little bit of groove to it. Cool. So as we're adding stuff in, we got like a little laser here before the basses hit. Loop I made, this one's in my sample pack too. And then a crash. Kind of hard to hear this one with everything going on, but that's what this one sounds like. Really clean background loop. And then in the second 8 bars, we just add back this one of these loops we've been using. So yeah, that's our drums. Ready for this monstrosity of a sidechain group. So now we hear all the drums. Let's see what the sidechain group is doing. So it's an 8-bar loop, repeats. We got a call and response. So call, kind of like a side call, another question, and then a response here. And then I don't even know if this is a second response or just like someone else, some other bass sound started talking. Then it repeats again, but then the last 2 bars is different. And I should have just played these 2 groups together, but the sidechain group and the vocal group work closely with like fills, like right here. If we play these together. Right here. Yeah, so let's go in the sidechain group. First, I like to do these little white noise things going into either kicks or claps. Super minimal, but helps keep the energy moving. Got this string playing the entire drop. So what we'll have here is this rave stab layered with the sub. And then immediately after that pretty much is going to be this layer layered with this layer. And then it goes into those like gun basses, right? And I want to showcase this one because it's really simple, but it's really cool. So 2 square waves and this filter. I don't know, I kind of just stumbled across this, but the French were absolutely cooking when they discovered this. Without it, with it, had so much super cool movement. And if you kind of mess with this, get some really interesting stuff with this filter. And so I have the resonance absolutely cranked here. That's what's giving it those peaks, the drive to, and I'm controlling that with LFO. So it kind of goes for this 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, these 4 beats. I have the rate set to half a bar, so it triggers this envelope for this length of time, and then it re-triggers right here, and that kind of throws you into the next section. If you kind of see what I mean. Yeah, but processing is just like 3 things, but yeah, the main thing is this French LP filter. Super cool. One more layer for that like French bass thing. It's a little donk there in context. That's like this first bar, and then we go into the gun basses. Really simple, just I think these are just some from my sample pack. And what I'm doing here, transient shaper, automating delay, reverb, The phase fuckers come in later when I do variations of this. These guys get layered with another mid bass layer playing another kind of rhythm. Play that one alone. This is, I think, the same patch, the French LP, but I just messed with it in a different way. Also moving around this peak right here to give it some extra movement. And then under all that is going to be this punchy sub. And this FM from B is off right now, but this comes in later for this part, which I'll get to. So we've done these 2 bars. Now the next 2 bars right here is going to be the kind of FM wub bass, which is this guy. Now you could see I committed this to audio, but I have the patch right here. We listen to it. It sounds a little different. I printed it to audio because I was trying to get fancy with like modulating this LFO, but every time I closed and opened the project, it would like reset and it was just annoying to deal with. So I just froze it, but this is the patch. It's just a simple FM from B plus 2 octaves on the second one, minimal processing, and I'm automating the rate here, and that's what's going to give it the 16th notes and then a long one and then more 16th notes. Also automating the pitch. So that one's kind of messy, but when I flattened it and did some more EQing. Now this sounded kind of OTT-ish and too compressed, so I added a separate sub underneath, just a really clean one. And it doesn't even do the LFO, it just stays. For the vocal group, I have like the Take Me vocals, the theme of the song. But with that, I have just a bunch of these like random chants.
Yeah. Selector.
Yo, check this out.
And a lot of these just kind of get auto-filtered in, like this one, for example.
Yo, check this out.
Played in context.
Yo, check this out.
So yeah, just a bunch of random, kind of the same philosophy as the perks in the drum group for these vocals, is just sliding them in when there's nothing happening to keep it interesting. Same, really very similar actually to the perks, because I even pan these to the sides. I put them off grid sometimes. Yeah, just trying to find little pockets, find little grooves everywhere I can. I didn't really cover much of this samples group up here, but I don't know, it would kind of take too long. So let's just play the samples group. It's just a bunch of background stuff. Yeah, honestly, like this is my ADHD brain going crazy, just random ass sounds everywhere I could fit them. One layer I'd like to touch on is these rhythmical blips and this bass chug, all for my sample pack, but these layer with that FM bass. Kind of like just drum accent perks, really rhythmical. And they layer with this just to give it some high end and something else going on. So this next one for that second 4 bars, so right here, first 2 bars are the same, and then we get a little turnaround, which was this rave stab thing. Yeah, you can see this is the automation for that French LP cutoff, and it's so like quiet here, I guess, and then when you open it up, it just gets giant. So that's that little turnaround. Then we got a little sample neuro refill. So second 8 bars is pretty similar, just like random extra sounds like that. And the FM bass went up. So here we FM from 2 octaves up. For this one, it FMs from 3 octaves up. So the difference there, 2 octaves, 3 octaves. Same sub though, everything else stays the same. The vocals kind of do some different chant ones, and then we turn it around again. So yeah, don't really think I need to cover anything extra here. If there's one other thing, it's that kind of layer the donk basses a little bit. The higher octave one, and then here you can see the phase fuckers on now. But yeah, really minimal changes here. And we switch it again, and then this next 8 bars, different flow. So let's listen to that transition going into that 8 bars.
Bring that shit back.
So really happy with how these vocals turned out for this switch around.
Bring that shit back.
So a little bit of call and response there with the vocals, like these coming in on the right ear. DJ, bring that shit back. And then these coming on the left ear. Got to give a shout out to my boy Wub. He is goated with AI vocals. Last cool element for this like switch up part before it actually switches is the snare. I started panning them halfway through, and I think that sounds really cool.
Bring that shit back.
All right, so now this next 8 bars gets real wonky here. So the drums stay pretty much the same. So that's like the main motif here for this part. One more bass, I guess I forgot, or 2 more. And layered with that bass is this literally just noise. And then also a little laser. While these guys are happening, it sounds kind of cool with the open hat because they kind of like go back and forth for this little part. I only did that for the first time right here. Creates a cool little off pattern right there. But yeah, just a different bass lead, and then I layered it with this, like, I guess this is kind of like a bass jam. I just kind of chopped up and pitched around. Shout out this guy, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but goated sample pack. So that was this switch up 8 bars, and the next one is, I wouldn't really call this part of the drop anymore, more of like a, like it still has the drums and everything, but we're just kind of fading out and we're bringing back some of the melodic vocals, as you can see right here. But one cool layer is this sub. So let's just play this section.
Check this out.
And then we're back in the melodic stuff. But yeah, like I was saying, this sub, pretty cool. So yeah, as you can see, the second oscillator is up 4 octaves. And again, it's just a simple FM from B, but bring it in really slowly. It's pretty cool, kind of like an ever-evolving sustain layer almost on the sub. As it's pitching down too for this. Like this part holds the same note, but here it's pitching down, and that combined with that FM coming up sounds pretty cool in my opinion. And that gets layered with this mid bass, which is really wide. So like this one being super wide and the sub being mono and screechy, I think these work really nice together. But yeah, then the next section is like just kind of a break from everything. We've been going pretty hard for 32 bars. The drums. Yeah, a lot of reverb on the drums in this section. And then we rebuild it right away. Which again is pretty much the same as the first time around, just a couple of layer differences. Overall it's the same. Then sidechain group for the rebuild again. The drop as well, it's kind of a copy and paste with a little bit of a fake out. I did try a drop idea here, but it didn't make the final cut, which I'll show you guys in a minute. But let's just go right into the drop here. So it's just gonna be, as you can see here, the drums are cut, little fake out moment.
Mash it up, no!
And then in the second part, just some different layering on those guns. But yeah, the fake out, pretty simple. What I did to kind of wash out these boys, just automate the shifter and the fine of it. So the shifter goes up to like 33% or something, and the fine goes up to 13. It gives it that warbly effect. The phase fucker also automates just a lot of different automations here. The reverb, the delay, giving it kind of like a washout as we go into the drop. So yeah, when it repeats here, I just turn the shifter down 500, give it different tonality. And then also I really like these repeats here. They just keep going down in pitch. And then that's layered with this higher layer. I really like how that turned out with the FM bass underneath. And this one, like the phase fucker, just really changing it up. And then yeah, same little outro with that FM sub. And we're done. Another little shout out for Wub here for making me this sick ass producer tag with AI vocals. Batman spot mode. But yeah, that's the drop. Thanks for sticking along for this one. I know this one was probably pretty hectic. It's a pretty big project file. But yeah, let me play you guys this bonus drop. So this was my original idea for drop 2, but I don't know. It's kind of sounds like Hamdi a little bit, but I just couldn't get it sounding right, and I just decided to keep it simple. Like I think I was trying to overproduce here, but it does sound kind of cool now that I listen back to it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. But anyways, with that, we're pretty much done with the video. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something. Go check out my new sample pack, please, and all the other stuff on my store. Really good resources. I've gotten some great reviews from you guys about it so far, so I appreciate that. And yeah, go check out the song. It's out right now on Discovery Project. See you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.